you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. So my name's Kayla, and I am going to be your counselor here at Counseling and Health Services. And I just wanted to know if you could give me a little bit of information on what brings you in today and how you heard about our services.
So I heard about them because of my RA. So we've been here for like 2-ish months now, and I've kind of had a hard time adjusting to like living in the dorm and all that kind of thing. So my RA kind of called it like being homesick. I don't really know if that's what it is, but I know that I just like haven't really been feeling myself. So she was the one that brought me in here, and I know in like the first couple of days they talked about like health services as an option for counseling and that kind of thing. So I figured I had a free hour and it was easy to make an appointment, so I figured I'd come in.
Well, I'm really happy you were able to make an appointment and come get some services because they can be really beneficial when you're feeling that way.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a really normal feeling that a lot of college students experience. And we have a lot of resources and skills that we can help you with to get through that little hump going on.
Cool.
So part of this whole process is going to be at first me letting you know some of the pieces that we have in play with confidentiality and hours and all that kind of technical stuff, and then we'll get into later on your goals and how you feel that the best approach might be for you.
Okay, works for me.
So part of the process is that I am an intern, so I'm at the Masters of Social Work program at Salem State, and I'm in my second year. So I am an intern and I'm supervised by a licensed independent clinical social worker. So she gives me constant supervision, and we keep everything that happens in between our sessions completely in between us. The only exception with that would be that if I need to contact my supervisor about anything with our weekly supervision, we will discuss maybe any concerns that you might be having or any questions that I might be having about the process.
Mm-hmm.
So are you okay with me discussing that with her?
Yeah, so it's pretty much, it would just kind of like what happens between us kind of stays between the three of us.
Yes.
Okay, so she's been in the field, not that like you're not good at it, but like she's been in the field for longer, so she might have like more answers and stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So that will be occurring about once a week. So as long as your permission's okay with that, then we can continue with the services as me as your counselor.
Okay, that works.
Awesome. So then the next thing would be with confidentiality. There's two more pieces that are a little bit less likely to be involved, but you should be informed of them just in case.
Okay.
So everything will stay between us and my supervisor, as well as if you make any comments that I might feel that you're going to harm yourself or other people, I would have a legal obligation to contact the other person you might be harming and let them know. And I also would have an obligation to keep you safe as well.
Okay.
So that would be when the information in this session would have to go to an outside source, as if I feel like you might be harming yourself or other people.
So like a hospital or like the police or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
And it would depend on the level of severity and what is exactly said.
Okay.
But I do want you to feel comfortable being honest about anything that happens in here. It would just be if there's immediate harm to you or somebody else.
That works.
And the other piece, which is a little bit less likely, doesn't happen that often, is if a court mandates us to have like a subpoena on anybody, which means that a court would call and ask us to testify.
Okay.
That doesn't happen often, but if it does, it would just be about what they're concerned about. It wouldn't be about everything. I wouldn't need to give them everything with our sessions. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. So just some general information about counseling health services. You can book an appointment online, or you can call the front desk, which I'll give you a card at the end, which will give you all that information.
Okay.
And basically, they're super helpful at the desk. You can call, and they'll try to put you in as soon as possible, or you can do it yourself online.
Okay.
And our hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we have a good amount of availability, but we completely understand that things happen on the weekends and things happen at night too.
Yeah.
So if you're ever feeling like you're in any sort of a crisis after hours, you can call the main line and they will redirect you to emergency services.
So like I don't have to do anything, it'll just go
Yes,
right there?
It will be redirected completely, and you will have an on-call person who will be able to answer. And then they'll be able to redirect you to the appropriate services, so you'll never be completely alone. You'll always have that number to call. And then during the day, our appointments will likely be once a week, and if you're feeling like you're having any type of crisis or distress that you need assistance beyond that, we do have appointment slots that are saved out throughout the office. We're on a rotating schedule.
Oh, okay.
So you might not be able to directly see me, but you might be able to see somebody else during the day.
Okay.
We have a couple appointments that are saved for any instances like that happening.
Okay. Is there a hotline during the day, or like, because I know that at other places there's like certain hotlines for certain things. Like, do you guys have that information, like for the state or?
Absolutely. So I can give you a resource list that we have
Okay.
of all different hotlines for different situations.
Okay.
That they can help you immediately.
Okay.
But if you need to come in and have a physical appointment during the day, we can set you up with one of our triage counselors.
Not that I think I need that, but like you said the crisis thing, so I was like, oh, I wonder if you guys have anything else.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's a great question to ask. It's great to be informed about all of these things.
Okay.
So that's a huge positive. So other than that, do you have any questions about the confidentiality piece, the hours, how to book an appointment?
What does cancellations look like?
That's a really
Not that
great
I
question.
think I'm gonna cancel, but I just know for like other places, like you get charged or like I just didn't know what that process looked like.
That's a great question. So because this is a state-run university, your appointments are not coming out of pocket. They're coming through your insurance, which is run through Salem State.
Gotcha.
So we don't particularly know, but either your insurance is through the school or you waived your insurance at the beginning of the year with a private insurance provider. So that will go right through your insurance. You won't ever have to be charged. These are services for students, and you can use them as much as you need.
Okay.
So if you do need to cancel, I would recommend calling the front office, and they will let me know and put it through our systems that you needed to cancel, and you can reschedule with them as well. And then you can feel free to just come in at your next scheduled appointment.
Okay.
And then if you need any help in between the appointments, that's when you would be able to call the crisis hotline or call during the day with a triage counselor.
And is there like a certain, because I think I remember during like some assembly that they said that there was like a certain amount of sessions that you could have. Is that true?
Yeah, so that's a really great question too, and that will lead me into telling you a little bit about my style and how I work with clients.
Okay.
So I am more of a person-centered counselor, and I really focus on individual strengths too, which means that I want to focus on what you feel like you need to work on, and what you're bringing to me as some of your major concerns and things you want to set goals with. And I really want to focus on your strengths too, to be able to help you incorporate those into your treatment.
Okay.
Because I'm sure you have a lot of strengths, and we want to really emphasize those and highlight how we can make those even bigger, and also work on building up some things that you might consider your weaknesses as well.
Okay.
So with that, Counseling Health Services is typically a short-term counseling approach. Because it's a college campus and we're following the school calendar, it is a little difficult with vacations and semesters to have long-term counseling through the school.
Right.
So typically we do about 8 to 10 sessions with clients. It's a little bit more short-term, so we focus heavily on some goals, but I really emphasize a person-centered and strength-based approach in my work.
Okay.
With that, if we get to 8 to 10 sessions and you're feeling like you need some more support, or the once-a-week sessions aren't working and you feel like you need additional support, we have a list of referrals that we can refer you out to all the local counseling centers, and there are a lot in this area that would be able to give you more consistent treatment. So how does that sound?
That sounds good. I mean, I don't necessarily think I'm gonna need it, but like I know that my mom goes to counseling, and you know, she's been doing that for a couple years, so I'm thinking if my mom does it, then like maybe I'll want to do it. So I wasn't sure kind of what that looked like.
Absolutely, and this can be a great place to start too, because it's more of a short-term method.
Yeah.
And we can introduce you to how counseling works. And a question I would have for you is, have you ever been to counseling before?
Nope.
So this is your first time?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'm really proud that you were able to come in and take that step.
Yeah.
So moving from those pieces of my approach, does that sound like that's something is going to work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it might be kind of hard to come up with some strengths, but I feel like, you know, you're going to school for this, so I think that you'll probably be able to help me a little bit.
And a lot of people feel that way too when you might not be feeling so great with things going on that it's
Yeah.
hard to think of strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll really work hard in emphasizing what those are for
Okay,
you.
that works
So
for me.
if that feels like something that can work for you, we can move forward and talk about some more about what's going on with you.
Okay, yeah, that works for me.
All right, great.
Yeah.
So some things, I know you mentioned that being homesick and having some difficulty adjusting
Yeah.
were some things that were bothering you.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a little bit of a history about your couple things in your past, as well as what's going on right now. So you're a freshman?
Yeah, I'm a freshman.
Okay. And so you graduated high school last year?
Yeah, I did.
All right. And how far is home from you?
It's like an hour and a half, but I don't have a car,
Mm-hmm.
so I know that I'm like mileage-wise, I'm not far, but unless my parents come up to me, I have no way of getting home.
That can be really difficult for a lot of students too, with the limited parking and the limited parking passes that they offer.
Yeah.
So I completely hear that out. At home, who do you live with?
I live with my mom and my dad, and then I have an older sister who's a junior in college right now.
Okay, great. And is your relationship with them good, bad, in between? How would you describe it?
My relationship with my parents is pretty good. Senior year, I got like really close with them because I started to get all nervous that I was going to school. My sister goes to school out in Ohio, so I'm used to not having her around, but I was used to my parents being there. But now I just live in a dorm with another person, so I'm used to not seeing my sister that much. But it's weird, like not seeing my parents that much.
Yeah, that can definitely be a really big adjustment for a lot of freshmen in college to
Yeah.
have that you might not always feel entirely prepared for.
Exactly.
So with that, did you have any work activities, extracurriculars that you did a lot up until your transition to school?
Yeah, so I played sports. I played basketball, and I played soccer, and so I was used to like being around like teammates and people all the time. And I
Yeah.
didn't come to school for a sport. I'm studying psych, so I didn't like come for a sport. So it's a little. I'm kind of realizing that it's kind of weird, like not having
Yeah.
people around, and I'm like I have to go to the gym now instead of just playing a sport. So it's like everything is kind of completely new. It's like I'm starting from scratch, and it's just a little weird.
I definitely hear that it feels like a lot of new all at once for you.
Yeah.
Especially feeling somewhat of a loss from not having teammates before and not having the support of your family and friends that you were having at home.
Yeah. It's a little
So,
odd.
yeah, absolutely. So your transition to college, you're living on campus in a dorm?
Yep, I'm living in a double with a random girl. She's nice, but it's like the beginning of the year, so I don't really know too much about her.
Yeah. And have you been able to make any other connections with anyone other than this roommate?
Yeah, so I'm living in a freshman building, so it's all like freshmen on all floors, so we do like these floor wars, which is just like, I mean, I'm sure you know about them, but like just like different games and activities that you play with them. My RA is really nice, so I've really gotten to know her. She's a junior, I really like her. I haven't really like made friends in classes because I'm in like really big lectures, so
Yeah.
I mean, I try and like compliment a girl's like jacket or something to like make conversation because that's what girls do. But I haven't really been able to reach out that much. I didn't go out a lot and party in high school, so I mean, I'm going out because I'm a freshman and that's what I'm supposed to do, but it's not really like my thing.
Yeah, so I hear that you're feeling a little bit of a pressure to go out and do things that might feel normal to do as a
Yeah.
freshman in college, but it might not totally be your thing, which
Exactly.
could definitely be contributing to some of those difficult feelings of having difficulty adjusting
Yeah,
to school.
absolutely.
Gotcha. So I heard you mention that you're a psychology major?
Yeah.
And any specific reason that brought you to major in psychology?
Well, I took a psych class in high school, and I always was kind of interested, kind of like you, like helping people. But the closest like major I could find to that was psych. Like I didn't really know that like social work was a thing, which I probably would have done. But it's just kind of interesting. I did well in my psych class, so I figured it's like I can always change it if I need to. But
Yeah, definitely. And nothing's set in stone when you're coming into school, so
Yeah.
you can always make changes, and we can talk about that too if that's a concern maybe later in our sessions
Yeah.
about if you want to switch majors or talk to your academic advisor about
Okay.
those kind of things. So I know before you mentioned that you felt like you might not have a lot of strengths.
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch a little bit on that too, because I mentioned that a lot of my work is person-centered and strengths-based.
Mhm.
So I wanted to pull out some of those strengths that you don't think you have, but I know that you do.
Okay.
So what are some things that you can maybe think off the top of your head that you might be really good at? We can start small.
Well, I played varsity soccer and basketball, so like I know I'm good at that. I was really good at English. I know
Mhm.
that I write like a really good paper. I'm probably not good at math.
Mhm.
What else? I know that I'm a good sister. I know I'm a good daughter. My grandma loves me, so I know I'm a good granddaughter. So yeah, I guess those are some things.
Awesome. Well, those are really important things to have too. So I hear that you are a really good teammate and athletic, which can really help you coming into school using that as a method to maybe relieve some stress. Even though you're not on any varsity team, we have a lot of other resources we might be able to connect you to that can help you connect with some athletic aspects of our campus.
Oh, okay.
And I hear that you are a really good family member too. So those social supports can be really important even though you might not be directly involved with them on the day-to-day basis. We can also brainstorm some ways to keep really connected with your parents, your sister, your grandparents through other methods.
Okay.
And maybe keeping up a little bit more of a consistent connection with them.
Yeah, because sometimes it's really hard. Like, I don't want to bother my sister at school because all summer she talked about how junior year was like the hardest summer or the hardest year for her, and like my mom like always makes jokes that like I call her too much. So like recently I've stopped because I don't want to bother her. But like if I need to talk to her, I feel like I should be able to talk to her, especially because she went through counseling. So I think she should know like how I'm feeling a little bit.
Absolutely. And that can be really frustrating, I'm sure, for you to have to feel that you're being pushed away from family. Yeah, no, I hear that. So we can brainstorm some ideas too on how to work on those aspects. And I also hear that you're a really great writer.
Yeah.
Which might not seem like a big strength, but with the amount of papers that you might be doing in psychology, that could be a really positive thing to get you through some of those stressful times.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So those are already some strengths that we can get right off the bat, and I'm sure you have more that we can keep uncovering. But I think utilizing your athleticism and connecting you to some resources to maintain that balance of school and eliminate the stress would be a great thing that we can work on. And also maybe keeping up some more connections at home and increasing those connections that you have with people that you might feel like you're missing.
Okay.
And I wanted to see, since I want this to be a collaborative approach, what your openness might be regarding friendships and getting involved in some more social situations on campus.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in that. Sometimes I know like we learn about like how to be a friend and different ways to get friends, but I feel like when you're little it's so different. But now that we're older, like yeah, we're all in the same position because we're all freshmen in college, but no one goes up to someone and is like, hi, I'm blah blah blah, let's be friends. It doesn't work that way anymore.
Absolutely.
So I think everyone could benefit from learning how to make a friend.
Definitely. I think you worded that really great too. So we have a lot of resources as well that we can connect you with revolving around different clubs and organizations that we have on campus that might really spark your interest. Certain things that you might have previously been interested in that you didn't even get involved in high school because high school can be such a busy time.
Yeah.
So we can connect you with some of those, and that can be a really great window of opening up different friendships and social groups of people that you don't even just have to spend time with at the clubs, but you can also spend time with at night, on the weekends, go to lunch with. So it can really expand your social circle doing some of those things. And with athletics, we have a lot of intramural sports that freshmen tend to participate in, and I can give you the website of how to sign up for those. We have teams that you can sign up on, and you don't have to know anybody. They're completely random teams, so you can go and meet some people that way too. And I can give you a little packet that I have of all these different resources to let you get a head start over the next week of maybe increasing some social connections and playing off that strength of being athletic with the intramural sports.
Okay. That works.
How does that sound for you?
Yeah, that sounds good. It sounds a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I feel like since we're gonna be here for like 8 to 10 sessions, that we can maybe space it out, because I'm already so stressed out with like schoolwork and
Mhm.
stuff that I want to do those things, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do them that well with all the other things I have going on.
That's a really great point too, because this time can be super stressful. So over the next 8 to 10 sessions, starting next week, we can make some goals and then talk about different interventions that we're gonna use to reach those goals.
Okay.
So just to brainstorm, and you can brainstorm over this week too, in any of your free time. Maybe goals could be increasing social supports on campus, or finding ways to alleviate stress, or maybe planning an important trip home and waiting to go home until that date later on.
Okay.
So we can talk about those different goals and make different interventions, all that stuff
Okay.
next week. So you can go home and relax and think about what might be the best method for you, because I want this to be an approach that you feel like you're contributing a lot to.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So we are all set with our session. You can actually, I'll give you all the resource information,
Okay.
and then you can check out at the front desk and schedule a session next week
Okay.
with our front desk manager.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Okay. Thank
I-
you.